Okay, this is the Unit 8 test review for the 7th grade. Hopefully you still have your test booklet if you're watching this at home. I know you guys in class have it because I just gave it to you. So, let's look at number 1. Number 1, I don't even need to write anything down. It says, which of the following has 2 triangular bases and 3 faces? Alright, well, if it has 2 bases, what kind of shape is it going to be? It's going to be a prism. Alright, and if that one of those bases is a triangle, if the bases are triangles, what kind of prism is it? Triangular prism. Alright, that's a gimme. Number 1, everybody should get that right. Everybody should get that right. If not, I'm going to drop kick all of you. Number 2. Kara is working in her garden. She uses 8 bags of mulch. Each has a volume of 2 cubic feet. The mulch was layered 3 inches deep throughout the garden, which is approximately 4.5 feet wide. Determine the length of the garden. Alright, so here's her garden. Okay, now she has 8 bags of mulch, and each bag is 2 cubic feet. So, how much area can the 8 bags in total cover?
16 cubic feet.
Alright, so if you used all the bags, you're going to have 16 cubic feet. Now, we know that the garden here is 4.5 feet wide, and we know how deep is it?
3 inches.
3 inches. Now, 3 inches, what is 3 inches in terms of feet?
1 foot.
No, it's like
What did you say?
1/4.
A fourth. It is a fourth. So what is a fourth in decimals?
0.25.
Alright, so we've got 0.25 as far as the depth or the height. Alright, what they want to know is this length. Alright, well, if we're looking at volume, we know that volume is equal to area of our base, which in this case is the length times the width, and then times the height. So, what is our total volume? What did we figure out earlier? 16 cubic feet. That was all of the mulch that she used. Alright. We do not know the length. We know the width is 4.5. And we know the height is 0.25. So, we can go ahead and multiply 4.5 and 0.25. Alright. Which is the same as doing what? The same as dividing by 4. So you get 1.125. Alright, so does everybody see how we've set it up so far? Alright, let's do this. Let's say, okay, so we just said 16 is going to be equal to the length times 1.125. Now our answer choices are 18, 1.2, 1.5, and 14.2. No. Now, if we take a look at this, and let's just think logical, okay? There's some number multiplied by 1.125 that's going to get us 16. Now, is 1.125 that much over 1?
No.
No, it's going to be times 1 and a little bit. Alright? So it's going to be whatever L is plus a little bit more, right? So, if I did 18 times 1, what am I going to get?
18 times 1 plus a little bit.
And then when I added that little extra, am I going to get 16? No, it's clearly too big, right? If I multiplied it by 1 alone, then it's too big. So 1.125 is way too big. Alright, now let's say I multiplied by 1.2. And I increased it a little bit. Let's increase it a whole point. That makes it 2.2. Is that anywhere close to 16? No. In fact, both of these are way too small, right? But if I took 14, or 14.2, and I multiplied it by 1 and added a little bit more, am I going to get 16?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really close. It's the only one that's even in the right realm of possibility. Alright, so 14.2 would be your answer. Now, looking at 3. It says the legs of a coffee table are in the shape of triangular prisms. Alright, I'll even draw one for you. There's a leg. It says the height are 2 feet 3 inches. Alright. The dimensions of the triangular base. The base is 1 foot. The height is 1.5. It says, which can be used to find the volume of all 4 legs. Alright, so with prisms, this is your formula. Volume is the area of the base times the height. So, what is my base? What shape is my base here? It's a triangle. And how do you find area of a triangle? Alright, so we're going to say 1 times 1.5. Alright, and then divide that by 2. If you look at how they wrote it on our answer choices, they just said divided by 2. Now, this right here is our area of our base, right? Now we got to multiply it by our height. Now, what is our height? 2 feet and 3 inches. What did we say earlier 3 inches was in terms of feet? So, this would be 2.25. So we're going to multiply it by 2.25. That's our height. Are we done? No. What are we forgetting? Why are we not done yet? We have the area of this. No, we did. We got the whole volume of the whole thing. Are we done? Why not? What part of this question are we... There's 4 legs, so what do I need to do to my answer? Times 4. So what is my answer if you look at our answer choices? C says 4 times 2.4. Is this a 2.4 right there? No, so that would be wrong. So A is our answer. Okay. Number 4, it says each week Lori rides her bicycle between 3.45 miles and 4.2 miles. What is a reasonable guess as to how many miles she'll ride during a 6-week period? Alright, so the way we need to do this is we need to figure out the minimum amount she could ride and the maximum. Alright, so how could I figure out the least amount she could possibly ride in 6 weeks?
3.45 times 6.
Yeah, this is the least she rides in a week, so we'll just multiply that by the 6 weeks. Alright, I get 20.7. Alright, 4.2 is the most she rides during a week, so we'll multiply that by 6 weeks. I get 25.2. Now, which is the only one that has an answer choice between those two numbers? F. It says 21 to 24. So that's our answer. Any questions on that one? Alright, moving on. Number 5. Mr. Garcia only had one edge of his swimming pool left to tile. The swimming pool is 2 meters deep. What is the volume of the swimming pool? Does it matter that he didn't tile one of the sides? No. Who cares? We're talking about volume. So why would we care about tiles on the outside? Alright, that's just there to throw you off. Now, if we take a look at the shape they give us. Alright, we've got a 50, 50, 25, 25, and then they put an X. Well, first thing I want to do is I'm going to treat this like a prism. If I'm looking at this shape, well, here, I'm not going to use that color. If I'm looking at this shape and I want to make it into a prism, I'm just going to add that little third dimension, right? Everybody see that? Now we can find volume of that, right? So, if this is a prism, then this little L shape here is my base, right?
Coach Sherman,
Yes.
can you send Valerie to the office of building?
Yes.
Thank you.
You need to watch this video tonight. Now, if we're going to treat this like a prism, then we've got to treat this L shape like our base. And we've got to solve for the area of that base. Because again, volume is just the area of the base times the height. So, what we'll do is we'll draw this line right here. Now I've got two rectangles, right? Alright, so based on the fact that this side right here is 50 and this is 25, what does that make x equal to? 25. Alright, so what is 25 times 50? You're going to have to solve it out. 25 times 50. 1,250. That is the area of that rectangle. Now what is 25 times 25? 625. Which means the area of our base, which we're going to say is the capital B, if we add those together, you're going to get 1,875. That's our base. So, if we take the area of our base and we're going to multiply it by our height. Now, what is the height of this pool?
We printed out staples. They asked me to ask you if you wanted me to run copies or something in a different order. Because I didn't finish copying.
I guess, no, I'll just have to staple my hand.
Okay. Well, I canceled the printer.
Oh, okay.
You want me to restart it?
I guess so. I mean, it's fine. Alright, so what was the height of this? Of this pool? I'm telling you, what is the height of this pool? 2 meters. So, if I have my base times my height, I'm just going to make it times 2. Alright. 3,750, or D. Questions? All right. 6. What can that fold up into? Rectangular prism. Easy question. Next, the Olympic-sized swimming pool is 25.5 meters wide, 51.8 meters long, and 3 meters deep. What is the volume of the pool? Well, we just need to multiply these all together. All right. So, if we said 51.8 times 25.5, you get 1,320.9. So 1,320.9 times 3. $3,962.7. So my answer is B. Alright, so that's just a matter of multiplying those three numbers. Alright, number 8. Lori and Bill's mugs vary in size and are shown below. Alright, we need to figure out which mug has the greater volume. Alright, if I'm looking at Bill's mug, it has a radius of 4 and a height of 5. Now, with cylinders, you've got to find the area of your base times your height. Area of the base, what kind of base is it? So we're going to use pi r squared. We know that pi is 3.14. What is my radius? 4. And what's 4 squared? 16. Alright, so we do pi times 16, which will be
80.
Alright, we get 50.24. Alright, that's our base. Now what's our height? What? Our height is 5. It's right there. Alright, so we get Bill's cup is 251.2. Alright, any questions how we found that? Alright, so I'm going to put that up here, 251.2. Alright, now Lori's cup. Radius is 3. Height is 8. Same exact thing. We're going to go pi r squared. Pi is 3.14. Alright, what's my radius?
3.
Squared? You get 28.26. Times our height, which is 8. $226.08. So which mug was bigger, Bill or Lori's?
Bills.
Bill's. This one's larger. So there's our answer to A, Bill. Now on B, it wants to know the difference between the two. So you're going to say 251.2 minus 226.08. Now make sure you line up your decimals. Alright, so you get 25.12. Any questions on that one? Alright. Number 9 says, how many faces, edges, and vertices does a hexagonal prism have? Draw the picture and explain your solution. You do not have to explain anything, but I do want you to draw it. So, this is how you draw a hexagonal prism. I recommend you watch. You're going to draw a hexagon, just like this. There's a hexagon. Then directly below it, I just want you to draw the front of the hexagon. Just like you're doing the same exact shape right there. Then you're going to drop the lines every time.
Whoa.
There's a hexagonal prism. Now, how many faces does that have? There was a dog out there. Alright, chill. How many faces does this have?
8. 8.
8. How many edges does it have?
18.
And how many vertices does it have?
12.
There you go. Questions on that one? Alright. Number 10. A looks like this. B. C, and D. All right. So, what is the name of A? What do you think? Wrong. 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 That sure doesn't look like a rectangle or a square to me. It would be a quadrilateral. Pyramid. Now, B is a cylinder, C is a cone, and D is a rectangular prism. I don't think anybody's going to have problems with those three. But the first one is a quadrilateral pyramid. Now, which of these figures has parallel bases but not a prism? The cone only has one base, so it's impossible to have parallel bases. B and D both have bases, but which one is not a prism? D is a prism. It's called a rectangular prism. It's B. A and C both only have one base, so you can't have bases. Alright, that means it's between B and D. Well, we know that D is a prism, so your answer has to be B. Alright, on part C, it says to describe figure A. It wants number of faces. Well, it's got 5 faces. It says to give the shape. So you have 1 quadrilateral and 4 triangles. It says number of edges. Well, it's got 8 edges. Number of vertices. It's got 5. Any questions? What?
Yes.
Alright, number 11 wants you to draw the net of the shape that looks like this. Alright, it's a triangular prism. Well, triangular prisms have how many rectangular faces? So draw your rectangular faces first, and then attach your top and bottom base. That's it. Number 12 wants the volume of a can with a diameter of 2 and a height of 6. It just wants the volume rounded to the nearest tenth. Rounded to the nearest tenth. Keep that in mind because it's going to come up. Alright. Just like the other cylinders, we have to say area of the base times the height. Area of the base is going to be pi r squared. So, pi is what?
3.4.
Alright. What is my radius?
1.
1. And what's 1 squared?
1.
And what's pi times 1?
3.14.
It's just 3.14. So this is the area of our base. Times our height, which is 6. Gives me 18.84. Rounded to the nearest tenth means my answer is what? That's rounded to the nearest whole. That's rounded to the nearest 10th place. That is 18.8. You're in 7th grade. Don't forget your decimal places at this time. Tenths. You're the one with the paper in front of you. Number 13, the class floor is to be covered by square tiles that measure 1 foot on each side. The classroom measures 14 feet by 20 feet and has a cement subfloor that measures 6 inches deep. What is the volume of cement of the classroom floor? What part of that question doesn't matter? Yeah, we don't care about the tiles. They want to know about the cement, so who cares about tiles? All right, they want the volume of what's going to be a large rectangular prism. Something that looks like this. Alright. So we know that it's going to be 14 by 20. How deep is it?
6 inches.
6 inches. How do I write 6 inches as feet?
1.5.
That would be 18 inches.
0.25.
0.5. 0.5 feet. Alright, so all we got to do is take our base, which is 14 times 20. That equals 280. Times 0.5, which is the same as dividing by 2. And if you multiply that out, you're going to get 140. And that is your answer. Questions on how that works? Moving on. Alright, we have a sandbox. Alright, it says that this is 5, this is 6.5, and the height is 1.5. Alright, it says each bag of sand, or we want to fill it up with bags of sand. Each bag of sand contains 6 cubic feet of sand. How many bags will be needed to fill the sandbox? So we need to figure out the area of this sandbox. So we're going to take 6.5 times 5, so 6.5 times 5. You get 32.5 times 1.5, which is our height. You get 48.75 is the volume of that sandbox. Now, if each bag contains 6 cubic feet of sand, how many bags do we need to completely fill it up? 9. A lot of people will put 8 or 8 point something something something. First off, 8 gives you 48 square feet. That's not enough, right? And if you try to put 8.123, you can't go to the store and buy 0.123 bags of anything. You got to buy the whole bag. And so your answer is 9 bags of sand. Any questions as to why it's 9? Alright. In that case, last question right here. Homeowners Association is planning to build a neighborhood swimming pool. The volume of the swimming pool in cubic yards determines the cost of building the pool. There is only enough money to build a swimming pool with a volume of 1,400 cubic yards. Now, what they have so far is they want it to be 3.5 yards deep and 50 yards long. We need to figure out how wide we can make it and still have this volume. So, if volume is equal to the length times the width and then times the height, we know that volume is 1,400. We do not know our length. Our width is 50 and our height is 3.5. Now, I'll go ahead and save us time by saying 50 times 35, that's 750. Oh no, that's 175, I'm sorry. Oh, I wrote that down, gosh. Alright. So now we know L times 175 is 1,400. So I'm going to go to the next page. 1,400 is equal to L times 175. How do I figure out what my length is?
175. Subtract 175.
We're going to say 1,400 divided by 175. Now, this is going to be a guessing game. How many do you think it's going to be? 7? 7's an odd number, which means our last number would be a 5, so no. 8? Alright. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 4 is 60. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 6 is 14. Look at that, she's perfect.
Yeah, we're dang.
8 yards is our width. So that would be our answer. Alright, and that is the review.